Welcome to Connecticut Basketball Spaces. UConn 89, Columbia 62. Got to see a lot today. I don't know if you got to see what you wanted to or what you didn't want to. You got a little everything if you wanted to see some things and you didn't want to see some things. Great first half. UConn kind of came out like a house on fire. I think it's probably the best we've seen them play all year. Second half, probably not as much. But at the end of the day, UConn makes the spreadsheet go burr and gets it done against Columbia. Hurley Mania, what say you?
Good evening. Listen, if you think he's mad now, imagine if we were doing a Xavier show. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty routine by-game performance. I thought, the first half was really impressive. They threw a huge run on Columbia to create separation in the first half. And outside of, I guess, maybe the first 10 minutes of the second half, I thought it was a really solid performance. And Dan talked about post game, they didn't put together a full 40 minutes, and they were going into a part of the schedule where if you don't put a full 40 minutes together, you're going to lose to some really good teams. But on the whole, I thought it was a really impressive performance by the guys, especially the way they came out in the first half defensively. When I'm a big fan of Kevin Hovde and it's the whole coaching tree he comes from. I thought Columbia ran great stuff. They just don't have any good players, and they were missing open looks in the first half. The second half, they made a lot of the same shots New Haven did, like tough contested middies that aren't good shots, and those were the ones that went in, which was odd. But I thought it was a great night, and the main takeaway, I thought this was really a coming out performance for Silas DeMurray Jr. 26 minutes, only 5 points, but 6 rebounds, 9 assists, only 1 turnover. Did a great job facilitating the offense. And you started to see glimpses tonight of what they're hoping that this can be with him running the show.
Yeah, I mean, I thought first half it's about as good as you're going to get. That stretch, I think it was about 4 to 5 minutes into the game, really right up to the tail end of the first half there. I mean, that was as good as that's as good as anybody's looked in a UConn uniform in a long time. Just everything humming. Transition offense looked awesome. They looked great in their sets, getting awesome looks from a number of different guys, spreading the wealth, I thought, pretty effectively tonight. And I think I'm just with you. I thought the second half, there's some things in there. They take their foot off the gas a little bit, this group. And while I don't think, and Dan alluded to it in the post game tonight, I'm like not sitting here worried. And whatever that was they did in the first half is not a sustainable thing for 40 minutes. But the intensity's got to be there, and the mental lapses and sort of the in and out kind of showing themselves a little bit again with this crew. So, keeping it locked in with them is, it's going to be a challenge. I'm not, too particularly worried about it. I think this is one of those games where you just, it's a little bit like the UMass Lowell game. Obviously, you just kind of jump out to such a commanding lead, kind of takes the crowd out of it. Everybody kind of hits cruise control. Dan referred to it as human nature, which I think is a pretty apt thing. Not that I'm, tremendously worried about, but, some of those bad habits again sticking out. And, if they kind of have some of these dips against what's coming up here in the non-con schedule starting Saturday, they could be in for the occasional long night.
Yeah, and that was kind of the case before tonight's game anyway. That's a tough stretch. We all know it. But I thought they had the 3 best players on the floor all night. Solo was great. Alex was great. Terrace was great again. And, the thing I take away with Solo and Alex especially is just the straight line driving on offense, the attacking of the rack. We know they're both great shooters from the outside, but they both were willing to drive the lane, and it's never going to be a crossover and break a guy down, but just taking the ball and going right to the rack and finishing through contact. And that's something this team sorely lacked last year. It's something this team's going to need if they want to really be a national championship Final Four level team. And to get it out of those 2 guys, in addition to what they can do from the outside, was great, especially on a night where Solo 3 for 9 from 3 is good. He's not been a lethal shooter from the outside yet this year, but if he can complement that by attacking the rack and going to the hole and taking 8 free throws and making 6 of 8, that makes up for a lot of it. So I was really glad from what we saw from the best players. I mean, how about Alex throwing down on a guy? His level of
Yeah.
athleticism this year and the strength is really impressive. And they also got Jaden Ross going on a heater in the first half, which was fun.
I'm trying not to get carried away with Jaden Ross.
He did play.
His second half kind of helped that a little bit tonight.
Yes, thank you.
But man, oh man, it is starting to show itself. Like that practice, Jaden, they must just be telling them they're practicing tonight against Columbia. He probably goes out there and lights it up and then realizes it a game. But yeah, so I mean, we're starting to see more consistent streaks in that. And again, like we've said this before, like it just needs to be him or it needs to be Stewie. Like one of them has to have a positive contribution night. If they're able to do that, the ceiling of this team is like demonstrably higher. And, watching what he did in that first half, obviously hitting those 3 trays, getting out, I think he snagged a pair of rebounds. He was just doing a little bit of everything. And we had a couple guys that sort of had some very under the radar good games, by the way. Malachi Smith tonight, notably, especially on defense. But, if him or Jalen are going to be able to contribute, in the way that they've been able to sort of figure it out so far. Stewie wasn't great tonight. But if one of them can step it up, again, so sky's going to be the limit for this group.
Yeah, it's the by half breakdown of Jaden Ross's stat line tonight is very funny.
Phenomenal.
He was 3 for 3 from the field, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks, 1 foul in 14 first half minutes. In the second half, he played 9 minutes. He did not take a shot. He only recorded 4 personal fouls. So, hey, it's Columbia made adjustments, but also, that's the other half of it is great first half. You need him to be engaged for the full game. And Dan got on Jalen Stewart a little bit post game he's trying to make a Wonder Twins reference, which was dated even for me. Wanting to get them both going in the same game. But it's kind
I
of
love how
about
Borges knew all about the Wonder Twins, by the way. I was right there just throwing devastating downfield blocks for Dan all night.
Yeah, no, everybody gets this, right? This is still on TV, right? Right? Yes, Dave, sure it is. But it was great to see Jaden kind of have that 5-minute heater in the first half. When they stretch that to a full game, and they need him defensively. But yeah, as you allude to, him defensively, but also I thought Malachi Smith defensively tonight really turned it up. So that was good to see. Interesting to watch kind of Smith and DeMary, how they interacted when they were kind of paired up. And I also love my new favorite thing is watching when Solo and Alex are on the floor, which is often. How much UConn, especially tonight, was trying to rig everything on offense to have them on the same side of the floor. There was a basket, my favorite play of the game, 5 minutes to go in the first half. It was a blowout. About 5 minutes to go in the first half, there's a play where Alex and Solo, they both end up on the right side of the court, and both Columbia guys switch and track Solo under the basket. And Alex has no one within about 10 feet of him and knocks down an open 3. It was just
incredible.
Funny because they were able to get both the Columbia guys. They're in a situation there where they both decide to track one guy, and those are 2 guys. If you leave either of them open, you're dead. So it was really great to watch the 2 of them kind of. The play was so good. I started watching it after that. Like UConn ran a lot of the playbook to make sure the 2 of them were on the same side of the floor at all times, because Columbia guys they have a great coach, but they have no clue how to do switches. They just have no idea.
Yeah. Speaking of teams with issues with switchability, yes.
They're probably better at it than Xavier, though. God almighty, they're down 25.
Is Xavier really getting beat that bad right now?
Yeah, they're down 56-31 to
Stop
Santa
it
Clara.
now.
It's not. Dan had a great answer post game about the importance of the non-conference for the league, rooting for everybody, and then I flip over, and it's just the Broncos running Xavier out of the Cintas Center. Not a great look, fam. But it was a good look for UConn tonight. Outside of that weird period in the second half, 89-62, and now they go into the deep water starting Saturday in Boston. It is a considerable step up, but I'm excited for it. It's what we've been waiting for 7 months. Now we get to see it. So let's see how it looks. It could be really fucking weird because it's November 10th, but it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I think it's got a chance to be a real weird one on Saturday. Got a lot of young guys running around. Everybody's kind of coming off their bye games. I was just using goofy stuff on Saturday. I'm excited.
Yeah, obviously you want all the games. It's a huge game and a huge spot, but it's also like it's November 10th today. It's the fourth game. So you want it. It's huge for the resume, but also there's a lot of opportunities here. You want to see how they can hang against an elite backcourt. At least extremely talented backcourt.
Talented is what I would certainly say. They've looked the part so far, BYU. But we'll see what it's like in front of a bunch of rowdy Huskies on Saturday in Boston. All right. You have anything else productive to say about this game? Because I really don't got a lot. And I figured it might be nice of us to let the wieners whine maybe a little early tonight.
Yeah, I mean, how far into this show before it just becomes a full-fledged Joe Fagnano for Heisman Trophy campaign show? I think this is the night where that happens.
It's not going to take long. The football bros will get their wish.
Oh, that was so much fun. Saturday, that was fun. That was awesome. And it was cool to see Skylar Bell courtside tonight in the War Daddy shirt, which got some very fun. If you love seeing Instagram and Facebook comments on a UConn post, go find the picture of Skylar Bell in his War Daddy shirt. It's a fun comment section.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we should let folks in and get everybody else's thoughts. They're more useful than mine anyway.
All right, folks. Hot dog, the UConn Huskies season is here. And the good folks, Martin Rollsoles, are here to keep you fueled so you can keep your foot on the gas throughout the year. Hot dogs, kielbasa's, sausages, deli meats, you name it. Not only can you grab what you need for the big game at their retail store at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, they'll even bring the meats to you and ship them across the country. That's Martin Rollsoles, the official sponsor of the Connecticut Basketball Spaces Wiener Weiner line. And now, folks, it's time to get to the meat of tonight's show. We'll be taking calls and check-ins here for the next hour. So if you want to talk, go ahead, request up. We will add you in and hear what everybody has to say. So going to go to Megan Bard. How are you tonight?
Doing pretty well. Got to win. Got to win in Gamble. We love to see it. I attended the game, unlike some other people.
No, you win the Good Fan Award tonight. I give you props for going out there on a 6:30 on a Monday. Is a tough one.
It was tight. I won't lie. It was tight. We were in the torrential downpour between 5 and 6 p.m. Was not ideal, but we made it. Watched the game. A game was played. We love that.
2 for 2 on torrential downpours during home games at Gamble. So for the men.
Yeah. I personally would like to talk about Jay Ross and how fantastic he's been so far this year. That's what I would like to discuss.
Please do.
Dan has been, he's been hyping him up for a while, but it's nice to actually see it come to fruition, like the energy level, the defense, the dunks, and now making threes too. Like, it's fantastic.
That was the wildest part. It was 3 for 3 from 3. That was the crazy part. I just need him to play defense, but if he wants to chip in with that really unlocks the level of his game that you can believe in him as maybe a starter. But I mean, some would caution that he did show signs of this in the bye games last year, but I'm going to choose to be positive about this. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, even against Michigan State, he looked good, and that, they're supposedly a real team.
Yeah, I mean he's been good in 3 of the 4 games they've played that have been so we're at 5 games now, including the exhibitions. So he's been solid in at least 3 of them. So I'll take that.
Yeah, and like I said, Dan has talked him up so much, over the past couple of years, but specifically leading up to this year, and it was pretty funny though what he said. I don't know if you guys caught the press conference where he's talking about him and Stewie can't seem to land it and be good in the same game, but I don't know if they're passing off their power from one to the other. But if the two of them can both lock in on the same game, whew.
Yeah, because they need the contributions at the wing end right now. The other good news tonight was the injury updates post game. Dan said that Terrace is off a minutes restriction. Furphy sounds close, could have played tonight, but then had a setback in the rehab. But he's in the mix for Saturday, and Braylon Mullins is coming along nicely. So yeah, if they're going to need with the guys out, there's spot at the wing, obviously. So if they can just get either Jaden or Jalen to be a solid player, they don't need to be the star of the show. They need to be at most they need to be the fourth best player on the team that night. I really just need Megan. I need the defense. That's it. That's all I'm looking for.
And it's hard to talk about a game like this. Look great. 10 out of 10, no notes. And then the second half, and it's human nature when you're up by a bunch, like to sort of take your foot off the gas. And obviously they're not going to be able to get away with that against BYU. So you wonder how that's going to play out against real competition, but also like it's Columbia. And the thing about Columbia is like not to like shit on them too much because obviously they don't have like the guys that we do, but their coaches actually like they're a well coached team. So it's not like UMass are going to come out and just like they're not UMass Lowell. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, Hovde is really, really, really good. Like
Yeah,
he was a huge reason Florida won the title last year, and they just have no players right now. And the Ivy League's been decimated with NIL and the transfer portal more than arguably any other league in terms of the step down it's taken now.
and
I
their
mean,
whole roster is basically freshmen. Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, the best program in the Ivy League has their best player redshirting so he can transfer possibly to UConn.
yeah,
So that's what's happening in the Ivy League right now. And Columbia was preseason picked last. So this is going to take time for Kevin Hovde, but the plays look good. The motion looks good. They just don't have players and they're
yeah.
young. And it's always been one of the harder jobs in the Ivy League. But they were, unlike Lowell, they looked like a functional basketball team.
And they looked like they'd obviously like prepared to play us as opposed to just like showed up to play a basketball game. Like they had clearly like prepared to play this specific team.
Yeah, and I would note that if you include the first half tonight and the previous two halves UConn had played, they had played 3 straight halves, beating the living shit out of teams. So I'm willing to accept the lapse at the start of the second half as just 18 to 21-year-olds attention drifting. Now it can't happen, especially on Saturday, but like that's how you teach them the lesson, right? It has to happen first. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of. I bet Dan's tape breakdown will only be the first 10 minutes of the second half. He won't even show him the first half. He was
Well,
even
and like
like
the
playing it
breeding
down.
effect too. Like it didn't help that all of a sudden, like the first half, I hate to even say these words out loud, but the first half was like really well officiated. They were letting them play. They were only
Yeah.
calling like, and then all of a sudden the second half, it's like, oh, I haven't got enough attention yet. I need to just call a bunch of bullshit and like make everything miserable for everyone.
He's fucking awful. And I can't believe that we're talking about James Breeding 3 games into the season already, in a game where like he was so visibly bad, like nothing,
Horrendous.
this game's over in the second half, and he's blown. First of all, we get to the magic 28 on the spreadsheet,
That
and that
last call.
fucking guy calls a foul to give them a free throw. Like that's the kind of shit that drives me absolutely ape shit. I was so happy that Dan made him go review that
And he was
play.
right. And it was a bad call.
Like I'm so happy that
Like
he made his bitch ass go over to that monitor and review his shitty call. Like it is November and we're already there with this guy. Already there.
like, was it just dad not love him enough? Like, what is his deal? I just do not understand him. Like, how are you so bad at this? And like, so bad in a way that's incredible. Like, how many refs, unless you're like a true sicko, like how many are, and like, you hear James Breeding and everyone goes, oh, that fucking guy.
I'm not even joking. I would bet if you put like 10 current names in the Big East of humans that are in it, and then you just like distributed like 10 mostly famous human beings or 15 people that people know of. I bet you he probably makes the top 3 if you pulled the average fan in the Big East of
Yeah.
every team. And that there's just no scenario where that should be a thing.
No.
There's no scenario where everybody should know an official to the degree with which college basketball fans, but particularly Big East fans, are acquainted with a guy. Like that just should not ever be a thing. And we're already here.
Yeah.
Just already here.
Already there.
And it's not even just the badness, it's the vindictiveness of the badness. He's like that old school baseball umpire, like with Joe West, where he would you'd start getting on him, so it'd be like, fuck you, I'm gonna call the strike zone even more narrow now.
And I feel like he knew that we were a point up on the spreadsheet, and he was like, fuck them, I'm gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
He's a Ken Pom ref. I could see that. UConn was up 23 at the half, and there were only 7 fouls called in the first half. And so in a 23-point game in the second half, they went out and called 31.
Stupid.
Now, I know UConn was handsy more, and they did foul more, and the hand positioning wasn't great, and there were more fouls, but it wasn't 4 times as many. It wasn't a 4x increase. Calm down. So,
but this is like the second game now that we've just been in garbage time, and the referees decide to go ape shit for no reason whatsoever. We could all live without these fouls. There's many teachable moments in these games, and now I don't need to go over 30 something fouls. It's the same thing with Michigan State. Why are we calling this many fouls?
That Michigan State game was the most atrociously referee game I've ever seen in my entire life. That was painful.
54.
54 fouls. I said it on the thing.
I don't know about you guys.
I just can't imagine being Michigan State. And that staff would be like, we flew all the fuck the way out here to just get some actions in and see some good athletes. And all we did was watch our guys throw fucking 3 free throws off the backboard for 2 halves.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to a basketball game, I want to watch basketball.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm different. Okay. I guess.
I want to watch them run plays and shoot baskets and in a team format.
I want to see them put the ball in the hole.
The whole. I like to watch the dunks. I like to watch the 3-point shots. I like passing, some defense. Not so much the fouls. Not so much.
And you know what team should want to watch fouls and free throws? Xavier. Anyway.
Oh God. It was very cool, I have to say, also sort of semi-related, Skylar Bell on the court got a lot of love. I know you were at the game, Hurley Mania, on Saturday, and that was truly one of the best football games I've ever attended in my entire life. And from any number of standpoints, beautiful weather, we got great parking, it's Duke. You fucking hate Duke. I'm seated right next to the Duke section, literally directly next to the Duke section. The things
okay, that's where
we were yelling at them after they won. We're saying, I got to yell, "Game's over, go home" at the Dukies. It was a lot of fun. But I have personally watched the punt fake, the Skylar Bell catch, and the strip sack about 500 times each. It was just such a great fucking football game, and to come out at the end, win it the way they won it, it just was so fucking awesome. I'm so happy for those guys.
UConn executing a fake punt that well was.
It was such a crazy call too. You're in your own, half the field. It's 4th and 8. That nobody's expecting anything but a punt, and you hiking it straight to the tight end to run what did you run 20 odd yards? It was crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
the guy who's calling 19-yard field goals is suddenly faking a punt on 4th and 8. It was
insane. I love it. I fucking loved it so much. It was so good.
It wasn't just that the crowd was great, which it was, and it was legit.
Incredible.
It wasn't just a papered 38. Even if it was, there were 38,000 people there. I tweeted the photo that I had to mute the mentions of Hot Balls. You'll love this. The most viral tweet I've ever had. It was a UConn football tweet. So, yeah, not any of the 48,000 hockey or basketball ones, but it was legit. The place was packed, and the crowd was just so behind them and into it, and
they were so loud, especially on that last Duke possession. It was incredibly fucking loud in there, and we were sitting in the end zone, so I was pretty, as things are happening, they're right in front of me, and you don't really appreciate the size differential. Our D line compared to their O line, just size wise, we were a lot smaller than they were, but in terms of speed and skill, and I mean the fact that they were able to blitz that line, get to that quarterback, strip the ball on the last play, it was fucking incredible. My soul left my body I like disassociated. I was screaming so loud, and like our section was incredible. They were taunting the Duke fans like constantly. It was fantastic.
Yeah, there
Like it
was
was even better being next to them. They were so sad when they left. They were so sad. It warmed my heart.
yeah. Well, the thing about it is that legitimately might be the best team in the ACC. They might win the ACC championship.
And
And
it is really interesting that how many national people are talking about us right now who 2 years ago were saying we
yes,
should be dropping down to FCS,
exactly.
like,
That was the best part of Saturday, seeing all the UConn fans going, "Hey, wait a minute! Didn't you say da 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 da?" It was so good. That was so
and
good.
now they're all like, what? Why aren't they trying to join the ACC? It's like, bitch, we've been trying to join the ACC for 20 years. Where have you been?
Hot balls.
That
They are.
congressman tweeting that is the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Welcome to the party. We've been here so long. We've gotten hungover 7 times. Like, are you joking me right now?
we could get hungover in eighth if they want to
I haven't
revisit it.
ripped out the Tiny Dancer meme faster in my entire life.
Listen, you know how I've been very reluctant on the Big 12 thing. Like, I recognize that like if we get the invite, we have to do it, but like, fucking hate it. Like, I don't want to be in that conference. It's gonna suck shit. And like, I don't want to join the ACC, but it would suck shit a lot less.
Yeah.
It would
Well,
suck significantly less shit.
yeah, it would help if 90% of the Big East doesn't look like they fucking quiet quit.
Oh my god.
Santa Clara by 25. But,
Oh my god.
Marquette looked great yesterday. No,
Ugh.
don't use the transfer portal, guys. It's fine. You're great. You're doing great, sweetie. And we'll save St. John's for later. That's its own shit show.
Oh, you
Yeah,
don't want to talk about how St. John's had everyone gassing them up, and even though everyone was like, they don't have a fucking point guard, and it turns out not having a point guard is a problem.
I'm gonna save that for when No Escalators jumps in because I feel like he can I'm just gonna call ISO for him on that. Yeah, the other thing is if they just freaking didn't yuck up the Syracuse game, Hot Balls and I would be in black t-shirts and a tank outside the ACC championship game demanding.
The thing about how close this team could be to being like 3 overtime losses, how close they are to being undefeated, and like how insane that conversation would be. The discourse would be unbelievable.
We
Like,
would get to have the most bad faith argument ever because in no scenario against this schedule, I love that.
You know how fast I'd be gassing Delaware up?
Oh
I
God.
would be so loud and wrong on the internet, and I wouldn't even care. Like,
It's a hell of a football team they have there in Newark.
Listen, Joey Vignano is currently apparently in the top 10 for fan votes for the Heisman.
That is
Like,
Hell
we got
yeah.
Danny talking about him in the like, if we can't discourse our way into the football playoffs. We should be discoursing our way to Joey Vignano, the Heisman.
Yes, that's the one. I just need him in New York. I'm not asking him to win.
We got to get him an invite.
That's
We got
the
to get
funniest
Joey
thing.
an invite to the Heisman dinner.
That's the funniest thing that could ever happen.
Just shitpost it. Like, this is a thing where, like, the facts don't matter. I mean, it's the most
No, it doesn't
2025
matter.
thing ever. You just make some shit up and be
Fuck.
like, oh, we beat Nebraska last week. What are you even watching? You didn't play Nebraska. Yes, we did.
They're not paying attention. They don't
You
know.
don't fucking know anything about anything, do you, buddy?
Yeah, well,
And
that didn't happen. Oh, okay, yeah, and Indiana's number 2 in the polls. Calm down, okay?
calm down. Fine. And like, I'm not going to say, like, I did watch the Dan Orlovsky year. So like, I understand the sort of difference in like what their jobs are, like relative to each other. It's not like Dan Orlovsky was throwing to like an NFL caliber wide receiver. Like, you know, like Skylar Bell, I don't think we talk enough about how incredibly good this guy is and how lucky, like that catch he made. That's one of the most amazing catches I've ever seen at any level of any football game I've ever. Like, that catch was crazy. They're calling the pass interference before he makes the catch. Crazy.
It's very funny to me that Michigan didn't just pony the money up for him. It's
And
hilarious.
you know, it's really interesting because here's a guy who like could have gotten a huge bag at Michigan to like, you know, get some throws at him, but now, you know, here at UConn, he is the number 1 option. He's his QB's favorite target. He's putting up video game numbers, best wide receiver in the country. Now they're talking about him as a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick. Like, maybe playing at UConn's not so bad.
Well, yeah, the thing about it is it's a very upfront what the deal is here. Like,
Yeah.
everybody wins. You come here, you play great, you can get a big bag somewhere else, or you can stay and, it's pretty good. You're not at Arkansas State here. Like,
When you're getting a bag,
yeah,
there's not no bag. There's some bag.
there's a shockingly large bag for you for what the
Yeah.
narrative is around UConn football nationally. Like, these writers, like, they legit have no idea. It's a top 10 non P4 bag.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we're not fucking around. But like it's not a Big Ten bag.
no, God, no. But
Let alone an SEC bag.
well, no, hold on. With the House settlement, it's only 20 million, Megan. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's all very upfront
Sure.
and
Yeah,
very above
it's
board.
all above board. Nobody is slipping anybody bags of cash on the side. That's definitely not happening.
God, I know we're a basketball show and we'll get back to basketball, but it was amazing. Megan, we're old. Like, you're older. I want to stress that.
It's true.
It
It's true.
reminded me of like if you went to UConn and you graduated between like the class of '02 and 2012, like there was that 10-year period where it was a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking videos late on my phone in the fourth quarter just to because I knew I thought there'd be an argument like, no, was it really? Because like the crowd was really like that. Like it was loud.
And people didn't leave. Like it stayed full until the end. Again, it was really nice. The weather was great. It wasn't cold. Like it was very pleasant sitting outside there, which is often not the case in November.
Yeah.
I've been to some miserable ass football games, but it was really and obviously it was a great football game. Like it was just a really fun football game to watch.
For a program that has, through its own mistakes at times, been dragged through the absolute fucking gutter for 10 years. They
Mm-hmm.
got on Saturday the fucking inside straight perfect break, the weather, the opponent, the time slot, the fact that 10 million people around the country couldn't watch any ESPN channel. So guess what? This might not be the game you want, but this is the game you're getting. And it was really competitive against not just a team from the ACC, like maybe the best team in the ACC.
I mean, the fact that they went into Death Valley and managed to beat Clemson, but they couldn't come into the Rent and beat UConn, like, fuck you, Duke.
The
Fuck
other
you.
thing is, I watched the end of that actual Clemson game. They got one of the worst officiating calls you will see in college football this year. Clemson, who sucks, should have beat them. Duke needed that to beat them. But it allows us to say that the first Duke team to win at Clemson in 45 years also lost at UConn. And I think that's
Listen,
funny.
I'm going to ride that it's harder to win at the Rent than it is to win at Death Valley for a long time. Discourse be damned.
Yeah. And
Facts be damned.
no, it's 2025. You make up your own facts. If I'm going to have to believe that Indiana might legit be the best team in football, I think UConn has the Heisman Trophy winner. I think that's fair.
Let's do it. Let's go for it. I love it.
Yeah,
This is
Saturday.
inching up on 30 points now, guys.
It's not getting.
No, my
It's
God.
not.
This arena is empty.
Do they have any
COVID.
humans on their team that can play basketball?
They're so small, man. Like
They're
that's the
very
thing
tiny.
that right off the rip, first thing you notice watching them, because I haven't subjected myself to Xavier this year. They are DePaul bad, man.
Okay, so here you go. Points in the paint. Santa Clara 42, Xavier 18.
Oh no. No. Oh no. Oh, that's so bad.
I mean, this is this is.
But the good news is Xavier's also 2 of 13 from 3. So at least it's on the outside.
I feel bad for our Xavier brethren. They do not deserve this.
No, but I'll say this. I think they've actually had a good sense of humor about the whole thing. Like, the expectations weren't very high. And I do think Richard will be fine eventually, but that's not this year. And this is the sort of loss that the league can't handle, because Xavier at some point is going to fucking catch somebody halfway decent in the league, and it's just going to nuke their net. Because
I don't think they're going to get anybody in the league, man.
Are you going to go? You going to throw 120 out there?
I don't think. I mean, they've got a shot against Seton Hall and DePaul, but I mean, this team's terrible. I mean, they're getting stripped every time up the court. Their guards are so small, dude. This one kid's shooting form is he's shooting the ball from his rib cage from the right side.
Oh boy.
This is horrific. And then we've got the GoBots version of Joaquin Noah here, apparently, as well.
Well, the good news is Friday night they get to face Bennett Sturts at Iowa, so that'll go well. That'll go great. That'll go great.
I mean, Santa Clara is doing to them what we did to Columbia tonight. Like that's the gap, guys.
Xavier's getting outscored off the bench 24-5, by the way. So that's yikes.
Horrifying.
Well, thank you, Megan, for all of your thoughts. Appreciate it. And I respect you for getting out there tonight. I finally had my bad fan moment.
No, it's okay. It's all right. We've had a busy few days. The women played yesterday, football, and then played Friday. It's been a lot of UConn the last several days.
I realized also that I am going to be in attendance at the next 9 games they play after today. So I decided, for the sake of my family, I'm going to no, honey, no, I don't need to go Monday night. I want to hang out with the family. So I did that for my daughter dinner. We did bath time. I was watching on DVR. I paused the game at the first TV timeout when it was like 9-6. And then when I came back, UConn was up 30. So I was like, oh, I missed the good part. So
yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah.
Look at you trying to be a responsible human.
Oh, it's
wonder if there's
because I'm not going to be for the next month and a half. It's going to be, I'm going everywhere around the country to watch this thing.
Wonder if there's like a
Deadbeat dad,
takeaway from
idiot.
that. Like, they played well when you weren't watching. I just feel like we need to study this, consider it more.
Yeah, well, but we could transfer it to the football team because I will be a bad fan of theirs Saturday. Folks, if you're not going to Boston, go to East Hartford. Go watch the football team, their last home game, Saturday at noon. Megan, are you going to do both?
I will not. I actually am attending a wedding that is supposed to end at 7 p.m. So fingers crossed.
Oh, no. It's ending at 7 p.m. for Megan Bard. That's the best.
That's correct. That is correct.
You.
Yeah.
They should get an open bar. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm driving though, so yeah, my cousin who lives out of state is coming and she's like, hey, be my plus one. And I'm like, okay. And then I looked at the calendar. I was like, shit. Well, okay. I do enjoy a wedding. I do enjoy a wedding. So I am obviously going to be like, yeah, let's go. Let's go to this wedding. That'll be great.
I'm the opposite. I hate weddings. I don't like weddings.
And I like to dance. I like to drink. I like to eat. I like to chit chat with strangers.
Oh
yeah,
my
I
God,
like to do all of that. But like, I don't want to go to a ceremony beforehand.
Oh, there's no ceremony. They're already married. It's like the post-wedding reception party situation.
Oh, so they're just like skipping to the main event? Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. But like...
And it's got an end time. I love a party that's like, this is when we're ending. Get the fuck out.
The undercard, like, you gotta go to the church and you gotta walk past the
No, none of that bullshit.
The water starts boiling
location,
and then I gotta hear some guy talk for like 50. I don't want to listen to that.
No, none of that shit. I'm arriving at a location. I will be handed food and bev. We will party. I will leave. That's the plan.
Because you get older after you've been to like a zillion of these, and like, I don't want to buy anybody anything that they don't deserve. I don't want to go out of my way and take away my weekend. I want to go to my games. I'm so old and curmudgeon now.
Guys, Santa Clara's up 29 at the timeout.
Xavier, for anybody that's curious, is 89th on Ken Palm right now.
Not for long.
Not long. Not for long.
Tim Burns.
Yikes.
Look out below. God. I mean, DePaul might finish 7th easily in this league at this rate.
Santa Clara's 98th on Ken Palm.
Herb Sendek's done a really good job there in terms of he always has like an NBA guy somehow every year. But that's not good for Xavier. They're not supposed to beat the shit out of them.
What was oh my goodness, Xavier was favored by 4.
Yeah, the line was 2. Which credit those of you who wisely realized that made no sense. And congratulations on your new house. So,
holy smokes. All right. I'm going to keep it moving along here. Thank you, Meg, for your contributions tonight. And enjoy your wedding.
Yeah, thanks. Enjoy. Good night, Sam.
All right. Let's go to No Escalators next. And then we'll get Cash Rod. Chris is waiting patiently. And then we've got I Know Ball lurking in the queue as well. So we'll get him going here pretty soon. No, let's go ahead with what you got for us, man.
How's it going, guys? Have a radical idea to talk about the basketball program on the basketball program you guys host.
It's a good idea.
So not actually a lot of thoughts about the game, because it's like whatever. It's the early season games, and they won by almost exactly what they were supposed to, and it wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. They slipped up in the second half. But I think coming out of the opening three games, I think someone who's gone a little under the radar, but makes me very happy, is Terrace Reed, who was awesome. And if he had played enough games to qualify for statistical categories, would be among the nation's leaders in effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, defensive rebound percentage, block percentage, fouls drawn percentage, or free throw rate. He is playing excellent, which coming off of an injury that he's now apparently fully past, makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, he looks unreal. Last year he didn't really struggle, but a little bit at the beginning it felt like he was trying to do 10 things at once, and the staff talked about wanting him to simplify stuff, and it looks like he's stripped almost all that stuff out, and it's just his positions that he's getting, sealing the lane. He had a great play in the second half where he just established position to allow one of his teammates to just drive the lane. I think it was Malachi Smith was able to drive the lane because Terrace just established position and just backed his guy out and cleared the lane to the hoop. It's just unreal watching him right now.
Now, the caveat, as always, 3 games into a season is they've played 3 straight tomato cans that don't tend to have talented big men, and that's going to change big time over the next month. So hopefully he keeps it up. But it's great to see that there's no lingering effect here, and he is as important as he was supposed to be. And most importantly, I think, getting to the line and not committing a ton of fouls.
Yeah, on this team that stands out to some degree.
So that was especially stood out if you sort of go down the list here, in terms of fouls committed. We have 4 guys on the team averaging more than 4 fouls per 40. Would you like to guess who they are?
Oh, I actually have the page up, so don't ask me hot balls. You'll have to do it because I already saw who they are.
Yeah, so I'm absolutely going to go all the way in on Solo Ball.
Solo actually is under 2. Solo
Really?
has been excellent, and
Phenomenal.
has, by the way, as just a little note here, gotten to the line much better than he did last year. Again, adjusting for level of competition, but that is a huge improvement because that was an area of weakness for the team. So
Sure.
all clear on the Solo foul front.
I'm going to go out a wild card here, Dwayne Chroma.
Dwayne Chroma, 5.7 fouls per 40 minutes, which is more than you're allowed to commit.
Unless you're playing Michigan State in the next season.
I've got to assume Jaden's up there at this point. He's got 5 today. I know he's in foul trouble.
Yep, 5-3 for Jaden. The other 2 are concerning for different reasons, and the 2 that would worry me the most.
I would probably say Silas.
4-1, which is not where you want your point guard to be.
Nope.
I'll give you a hint. It goes hand in hand with why it's so important that Terrace is not committing them.
Ryba
4-2. So let's hope Terrace keeps it up against taller teams. But in general, look, Hurley's teams foul a lot, but this team is continuing to foul a lot. If you look at the 4 factors, the only place that they're like really bad is free throw attempts per field goal attempts allowed, which is not great when we're still playing the little guys.
Yeah, the good news is they are up almost 10% on that stat from where they were last year. The bad news is last year included them against teams that were good, which the stat for this year obviously doesn't yet. But Yeah, I know it's something that you vocalized, and I agree with the concern about can this team have guys that drive the lane? Are you at least do you at least feel better watching what Solo and Alex are doing in that regard? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
no,
I don't know if I'm just coping or
it's good. The free throw shooting is good, and they're getting to the line more, not like a humongous amount, but better than they have been. And in this offense, it's never going to be they're never going to lead the country in free throw attempts just because of the way they play and the way they set things up, and that's fine. And then look, Solo is leading the team, and he's shooting almost 90% from the line. Terrace is shooting just a hair under 70%, which if he's going to be there a lot, that's helpful. It's not useful if you're there a lot, but shooting 45%. So
and if
I think there's a lot to like, and just the fact that he is healthy, nobody got more hurt in these 3 games, and it sounds like the 2 guys on the mend are coming along faster than anticipated. Like, knock on wood, let's have some roster continuity this year. That would be a nice change after last year.
yeah, it would be nice to cut the injuries here. To make you feel a little better, BYU has been impressive under Kevin Young, but they also do not. And I know I'm jinxing this, so I apologize. They also do not draw a ton of free throw attempts to field goal attempts under Kevin Young, and they have a point guard who is a bit of a ball stopper. So that'll be interesting to watch Saturday. Hopefully this UConn team can just stay healthy and not give up a massive yawning difference at the free throw line like was the issue last year. But
Yeah.
it's going to be fun to get finally into some games against teams where it's, high-end competition and see what this looks like.
It'll be good. I can't wait to see it, which is something I can't say for anybody else in the Big East. And even though you guys have already put Xavier through the ringer, I do think Shaka Smart should be sending Richard Pitino a fruit basket as a thank you for getting the attention off what his team did yesterday, which was an abomination.
Yeah,
Even though I think Indiana is actually going to be good this year.
Yeah, now they've polluted your mentions because now Indiana looks good already under Darren DeVries, which was predictable. It's far too soon. You don't deserve that. Yeah, Marquette, that was awful. It was really bad.
Yeah, look, this is going to be a grim league, and we're really hoping. I guess Creighton does something. They're 10-point dogs to Gonzaga tomorrow, so.
God.
Let's hope that goes well, because if they go south and then we're hanging on to Villanova or Georgetown, who, look, I'm excited. Georgetown deserves all the credit in the world. That was an awesome win for the league on Friday, and they just got like a hot new recruit, and maybe Ed's finally turning that thing around, which, look, if you won at Providence, there's no reason he can't at Georgetown, so that would be great. And Willard is fine too, but like, people are saying 3 teams. It could get close to 2 teams. Maybe we get 2 teams and a play-in team in the tournament. It could get real ugly. We could go
I
long.
don't see 4 teams at all.
Oh, no.
Not even close. I mean, definitely not 4 teams. I think 3 teams is probably pretty realistic. I would be interested to see what Creighton's all about, especially against some better competition. They kind of, I don't know. They're one of those teams that feel like they could end up being better than some of their parts kind of thing. But there's just not like a dude on that team, and I don't know. And then St. John's, we'll get into St. John's later. I have a lot of thoughts about St. John's.
No escalators before you run. I have to ask your thoughts on Terrace Reed's 3-point attempt.
I missed that one.
So did
But I will tell you instinctively, I'm unhappy about it. And when I look at the shot charts in the morning, I suspect there's going to be a number of 3-point attempts that I would quibble with the location or choice to take in the first place of.
Ever since you started talking about it now, it's like the only thing I notice when they take threes. I'm looking at where they are. And so thank you for breaking my brain even more.
I am wondering if on Saturday they're going to have the NBA line down on the court. You know how batty that drives me, because everybody seems magnetically drawn to it. I would take 2 points off our projected score if there's a NBA 3-point line.
I will say this: the Celtics, their home game is Wednesday. I'm guessing the Bruins have a home game either Thursday or Friday. So if they want, they don't have to have the NBA court down because the Celtics don't play again until Sunday afternoon. That's a tight turnaround. It's probably the Celtics court.
Yeah, it's probably the Celtics court.
Shit. All right. This was the issue with the Gonzaga game last year.
There's a lot of guys with some itchy trigger fingers on that court on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I mean, he'll play great, but Alex on the Celtics parquet in Boston, he might be pulling up from that court.
Look what I can do.
Thank you, No Escalators. Appreciate it.
All right. Who did I put in order? I got cash fraud next. Then we're going to go Chris. Then I know ball will be next.
So that first half was fun.
What?
I was getting ready to compliment Columbia. You know, I was gonna go out on a limb and say, like, if Yale doesn't win the Ivy, then like that's gonna be the team that knocks out Purdue in the first round. Then they pissed me off in the second half, so I'm not saying any of that.
What did you take that? Did you take him at half or something with like getting 40 points?
No, I just think that their halftime adjustment was just to start playing football.
That was,
And then,
they went from running really nice sets and the ball didn't go in to just taking absolute bullshit in the second half.
yeah, and James Breeding's response was to call UConn for 8 times more fouls in response to Columbia amping up the physicality. And UConn probably was more lackluster on defense in the second half, and yet they got called for way more fouls. It just was a frustrating second half to watch.
Yeah, but I'm going to be positive. The first half was really good, and it's hard when you're up 40, I think, to probably keep that level of
yeah,
focus.
It was. And I think I tweeted at you earlier, Mania, that like just get out and run on those guys because like they look like a team of like linemen and linebackers. Like make them sprint up the court. And our transition offense looked great in the first half. Yeah,
that's something they said in the preseason. Dan won. I mean, it's the UConn tradition. We're going to run more. We're going to press more. We're going to run more. And that never kind of happens. But I do think this UConn team, it does behoove them to run a lot more to cover up some of the defensive frailties, if that's even a way to push it, because they have incredible speed and athleticism, and just wearing teams out in that sense can kind of take a little bit of the edge off when you got to play the 30-second half court man to man, and you get a little nervous about this team on switches sometimes. If you can just tire a team out, that'd be great. UConn tonight finished with 11 fast break points, so there you go.
Well, and that's going to be big for the BYU game. Is not letting them get easy transition baskets because they look for those quick runouts a lot. They burned Villanova on them quite a few times.
Yeah, and they've got so many like 6'8" to 6'10" wing guys who are crazy athletes. It's gonna be a huge test, obviously, for the whole team, but also Terrace. Like you saw it tonight in the first half. What Columbia was trying to do with him and Eric Ryba was they were trying to drag those guys out of the paint. And it was hot balls. I don't know if you noticed this. It was kind of fun watching Eric Ryba go through the freshman thing where he didn't know if he should follow his guy or if he should just stay in the paint. Because his whole life it's been follow my guy. But I'm glad he was thinking about it because it's a sign that they've told him this is different here.
How do you think his week in the film room went, by the way, this weekend?
Not great. Not great. But
I wonder if Dan has like the star of the week, the star of the game, and it's the guy that's going to get killed the most in the film session, so they have to sit right in the front row. Like just imagining Eric Ryba, this enormous dude, sitting right dead center in the middle, right next to Dan.
Dan's pausing it, leaning over to him. You want to explain to me what you were thinking here? Just over and over.
Sir, why don't you get up in front of the class and, explain what we're doing here.
I love it.
Makes him sit up there. He probably calls them the Sweat Hogs or something. Who's this week's Sweat Hogs?
Who do you guys think is going to end up guarding the Bansta?
I think Ross or Stewart. I mean, it's just the size that scares me with him. I mean, he's 6'9" and his wingspan's about 14 feet. Not really, but I just think you've got to have somebody that can stay in front of him. And that's the issue with, I mean, you can try Silas on him at first, I guess, and we'll see how that looks. As locked in as Malachi was tonight, I mean, that's a size disaster. Solo, that's a size disaster. I don't think Terrace, no, obviously. Alex would be weird, probably could do it. So I lean towards whoever they go with in terms of Jaden or Jalen. I know how balls. Am I crazy? Help me out here.
I would probably err to Alex because of the length and just the experience.
That's fair.
Initially, I'm a little worried about Jaden fouling him too much and getting into foul trouble right off the rip, and I think they're going to need his length and the depth. Ditto with Stewie. But Stewie always also likes a challenge, man. Stewie always steps up and guards guys. He's a weird matchups guy.
Yeah,
the only guy we ever had that did anything to Eric Dixon, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, he always raises his game against the competition. It's wild. Debanza, by the way, has yet to commit a foul in college basketball and is drawing 5.8 per 40 minutes. So this will come up.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to start the game on him with, whether it's going to be Caravan or Stewart.
I think I mean, Alex, I mean, that game and that building, Alex has earned the right to take that challenge. I think you're probably right. That's who I would start it with.
Just because, like, I think they'll start with, like, a more traditional with, like, because I think you would want, like, Demery up and, like, putting pressure on Rob Wright. Trying to not let them get into their offense.
Yeah,
but,
and then, I mean,
but
you can also, you've got where Richie Saunders is a lot bigger, but do you maybe want Solo to try and figure out? I mean, Solo and Wright is the size matchup, but that could be a disaster for 17 other reasons.
Yeah. I mean, obviously at points of the game, like, they can have Malachi get up on Rob Wright a lot, and then you can have Demery on, I guess, either Debanza or on Saunders.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm fascinated by what they do to handle Kaida on the inside. I was really impressed with him. The little I haven't watched a ton of them,
yeah,
but
for all the talk about Debanza, Kaida's the guy. I was like, ooh. He's so physical and explosive. That's going to be, I think, the most interesting matchup of the night on Saturday. It's going to be him and Terrace.
Yeah, I thought he was. This is some word. I thought he was their best player on the floor against Villanova. Like, he was just decided for Villanova, and give credit to Willard. He's created a team that, like, has a really high floor, but the ceiling isn't great. And they were able to handle everything really BYU did in that game, except Kaida. They had absolutely, like, they just don't have a guy like that at Villanova yet. So that's going to be a huge test for Eric Ryba, like, and Terrace, but, like, especially Eric to not pick up 3 in the first 5 minutes.
They don't really have.
But we've got Chroma for it. We've got 10 fouls to go.
That's right.
On that guy off the bench. So, not that I would want to be rolling Dwayne out there against Kaida, but, like, he's got 5.
But they don't really have, like, another sort of, like, traditional big, right?
They have Boskovic, the kid from Serbia, who's a 6'10", 225 senior. He only plays. I mean, they were trying to up his minutes this year. He played sparingly last year, and this year he's playing 13 minutes a game. So,
yeah.
It's 6'10", 225, so he's not as physically imposing as Kaida, but that's really the other guy. They've got a freshman that they play a very little bit. I'd be stunned if they gave him. I mean, they gave him a ton of running against Holy Cross because they were up 500,000 points.
Yeah, he played 1 minute against Villanova.
Yeah, so those are the 3 guys that they've got. But their whole team is just big. It's a lot, more or less everybody 6'5" to 6'10", and that's what makes them such a dangerous team. And they've got a complete freak show in AJ Debanza, and I say that completely as a compliment. That kid's. He's going to be a star. I don't think he's a star yet, and I hope he isn't Saturday. But the toolbox has got everything you need to build a house. So we'll get to see the full experience Saturday, and it's only going to be their 4th game. They play. If you want to do a little advanced scout, folks, they play Delaware, who lost by 10 to a Division II team at home. They play Delaware tomorrow night at 9 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. So if you want to do a little BYU scout against a tomato can, there you go.
Okay. I really just came on to say, fuck James Breeding. I hope all of his flights get delayed.
That's right. He should have to go work air traffic control.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, you don't want him working air traffic control.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah, it's a thing you definitely do not want James Breeding doing. All right, thank you very much, Cash Fraud. Appreciate it. All right,
By the
we're
way,
going to go to
hot balls. Before you do that,
do that.
only 4 minutes tonight for Karoma, who we just discussed.
Yeah.
Were you? So it looked like they tightened up the rotation tonight, and I wonder if that was an eye on Saturday thing.
Yeah, probably. I would say so. I mean, we're going to see what Eric gives defensively in his minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more Karoma, but I would suspect we see a little less Millender, especially on Saturday.
Yes. He tried his best.
Especially on Saturday. So, yeah. All right. Chris, man, what do you got for us? Thanks for being patient. I appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, no problem. I got a quick question after watching that Xavier slop. A lot of the middle and bottom of this conference is disgusting, and I really don't have faith in anyone. Considering the recent success of football and the state of conference realignment, do you think the current 11-team Big East is going to last till the end of the decade?
I mean, I think regardless of what happens with us, I think that the conference is going to be around until it's
No,
not.
I'm saying as is. Do you believe that the conference will exist as is? And what's more likely, an addition or a subtraction?
Probably likelier would be a subtraction of UConn of anything.
Yeah.
The thing that folks don't seem to realize when we talk about this is where are teams going? The Big 12 doesn't want to add anyone. The ACC is a dumpster fire. You want Dayton over the last couple of years? No. St. Louis? No. In terms of ads for the league, Gonzaga's not because they're going to the Pac-12, which is just the Mountain West 2 electric boogaloo. A bunch of Memphis wants to go to the Pac-12 but can't fucking afford it. So there's no one to add to the Big East, and unless UConn's going to the Big 12 or the ACC, who I don't think are expanding in the current environment, that means it stays the way it is. That's not me saying I think it's the best course of action for anyone. I just think that's the way things are. Until this all probably shakes out around 2031, which is a real year, if you can believe it. But until then, I don't think this stuff is moving around. There's too much shit, like house settlement and NIL and new TV deals for these leagues. There's too much other stuff they're all trying to focus on to go out and add like a 19th team, which is literally the number UConn would be in either of those leagues.
Yeah, my biggest problem just looking at the league right now is it just I don't see the same level of care for investment yet from teams like a Xavier, obviously from teams like a Marquette. We're so behind the 8 ball when it comes to the 5 through 11 teams in our conference in terms of NIL, that pulling in recruits is going to become such a problem that we're going to fall so behind other conferences. And I'm concerned that the league becomes this too big league where we're having teams fall off the face of the earth in non-con play in November.
My one concern, and Hot Balls, I'll let you jump in, I'm sorry. My one thing to remind everyone is that knowing as they are right now, especially tonight, Xavier and Villanova are starting over. I think they will both be fine in the long run. The one I'm pissed off at is Marquette. Because
Marquette's terrible. They're pissing away an opportunity.
Because Marquette has the money to compete in almost the top echelon of the sport. The attendance, the NIL, they have the money, and they have a coach who just...
where else is the money going to go?
They pay the money to the guys who are there. Shaka's not an anti-NIL guy. He's not. They pay the guys who are there. But... his point of view is just crazy to me because they're a top 20 program the last 5 years, maybe top 15.
I don't know.
Thing to get them over
use it as some holier than thou thing where he feels like he's above everyone else from not dipping his toe into the portal.
If Thad Matta had this position at Butler, it would be weird to me, but I'd get it. This is a guy who's been on the precipice of a Final Four a few times and knows what he
Been to
needs
a
to add to
Final
the
Four.
team. And well, yeah, but I mean, the last couple of years, they've had really good runs, and they've had clear weaknesses, and weaknesses they could very easily address in the portal and be an extremely enticing destination for the best players in the portal.
Yeah.
And he just chooses not to do it.
The
And if
NIL
you're a
is
You're
good.
Marquette
talking
I
fan,
about
mean,
you're talking about a second weekend team,
yeah,
for a theoretical second weekend team from last year turning into a quad 2 game, like in 1 year, blink of an eye. Like, what are we doing?
yeah. And if his fit, like, I get what he wants to do, but like, if you have great player development, but you're 17 and 13, like you got too much water coming over the side. Look at the nice sail. Like it
the
doesn't.
crazy thing about it is Tyler Kolek was there 2 years ago,
Yes, that's
who
the
they
worst
picked off in
part.
the portal.
The best player
And
they've
like
had in 30 years
there's
that
a
wasn't.
great case. There's a great case outside of probably Spencer and Newton. It's the best portal ad that anybody made and Zuby's probably in there too, I would say at this point. The best portal ad that anybody made in the Big East since the portal's open. If not number one. I mean, there's a really good case for it. And that's what's so banana boats about it is they were like early adapters and they're like, and then had tons of success with it and then instantly turned around and were like, fuck this shit, I'm not doing it. And
They
like
they grabbed they
part of
grabbed
me,
Omax from Clemson.
I don't know what the upside is, and that's kind of the other crazy thing about this is it's not just um the fact that they had some early success with it and ditched it. They're literally like they don't need to go get 6 players. Like
Yeah,
that is a
Get
solid
two,
4 players that they have. You go and get 2 guys
two,
there, and like
just something,
that's a top 3. That's a slam dunk tournament team with like 2 more pieces.
And again,
And I
now
think
there's just
that's kind of the
quad 2
insane thing.
landmines. Like,
But I at
what are
least
they?
that one drives me nuts. But I don't question the desire to win at Villanova and the infrastructure's there. They're Hurley Mania said they're starting over. I don't know
No,
how
I
great
I
Willard's
I
going
don't
to
think
be,
that.
but like I don't see a scenario where what
That's a
they've done
high
the last
floor, though.
couple of years. I think their floor is really high.
Yeah.
yeah,
And Creighton's been committed to it. Look, I mean, they haven't, broken through that ceiling, but like they've hardly been the problem here. Georgetown obviously starting over. That was a much bigger mess than I think people give credit to. I kind of hate this whole idea that, oh, no, you can just fix yourself in the portal in like 1 or 2 years. It's not that fucking easy. But like
No, they're restarting their whole engine too. Like they yanked out their engine and have to replace and
yeah.
restart
So
everything
like I
with a
think
whole
it's
new
there.
engine.
I think Providence might be in trouble, Kim.
He's done.
it's
He's done.
So
not good.
they may
It's
be in some
not
He's
trouble
good.
done.
there. And then, yeah, I mean, I think DePaul is trying to figure it out, but like they've just been so far behind everybody for so long that's another, long-term thing. Seton Hall just built a practice facility, which everybody else was doing 30 years ago,
I mean,
selling
we
pesto
can't sit and
recipes.
lull ourselves into this though.
Um,
Like
and I think
teams like
Xavier's
Butler.
starting over too. Xavier's the one drag this year. I'm like really not worried about. They've got solid NIL there, good facilities, and like if they come back and have like back-to-back shit years, they will pull the plug. They always
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
that's a team that was a 1 seed. That's a 1 seed. Like not that long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So like,
also I'll say this: it might be the most entertaining team in the league to have be a complete dog shit team because their Twitter's amazing, and I think their fan base
Sure.
will really lean into it because it's year one and get a kick out of it. It'll suck, but they will be very entertaining, and I'm sure that they'll be fine. I think Richard's fine as a coach. The roster is awful, but it is what it is. I don't question them. I feel like the DePaul fans hate Marquette for a million reasons, but also another one is like DePaul's known what they need to do and they've tried to do it and it hasn't worked. And you have Marquette in the corner who went from being like an 8-9 seed every year to being a top 3 seed by getting 2 amazing transfers. And their coach was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah,
If
I've
you're
come to
DePaul
expect.
where you can't
Yeah,
do anything right for 30 years and you see your rival actively not doing an easy thing that made them good, it would drive me insane. It would drive me
yeah, I've
absolutely
I've
insane.
come to expect Marquette to be a mainstay in the Big East. I mean, just watching the last few years, I feel like Marquette games are big games. We play them on the last day of the season, usually at Pfizer. Like, I feel like that game is always massive. And now looking at that roster and looking at the build, it's embarrassing what they've delved into, and looking at teams like Butler, who had a quick peak with Brad there a decade and a half ago, and then all of a sudden were a once proud basketball school, slipped into the depths of hell when everything hit the fan. I mean, you can't have these basketball only schools in a conference that is all about basketball not investing in the product, because in a small 11 team conference, having the bottom 5 teams having absolutely no floor is disastrous and landmine ridden for teams like UConn.
Yeah, that's part of
So
the problem. One of the many problems for the Big East versus the Big 12 is like, it's just like the Big. You're always gonna have a few teams that suck, but like when you start talking about it in the Big East, you end up getting to half the conference really quick.
yeah, immediately.
Like you run out of, and I think Creighton will be really good this year. And look, say bad loss for, not really a bad loss for St. John's, whatever Sunday was, like they're going to be fine. UConn's going to be fine. But like
That's a good team.
you start, I mean, I think Georgetown maybe finally has figured it out under Ed, maybe.
But great though. Like, what do we really think they can be this year? Like, just off bubble in. Like, I don't have terribly high expectations, and no one should. They were awful, and any improvement is good
And
improvement. But it's not like this is some
the problem is the
protected
thing you
seed.
just described might be the 4th best team in the league. That's the
Exactly
problem.
my point. Exactly my point. So, like, when we're looking at a UConn conference schedule and talking about 15-5, when we're talking with our non-con plus a 15-5 regular season with a couple tough road losses, that might not be a protected seed.
No,
Like, that's tough.
if UConn puts up 15-5 in the league and goes, was it the 10 non-con games? They play like 6 really tough ones, right? If
Yeah,
UConn
6
just
tough.
gets 3 of them, that's a lock. That's an absolute lock protected seed, because everybody like. I don't think you're going to get 5 Big 12 teams going out and going undefeated in the non-con, because everybody else is scheduling tough too, for the most part. So they'll be fine, but they might be the only protected seed the league has.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out obviously everyone's looking 3-3 bare minimum is kind of what everyone's looking in the non-con. Everyone's kind of hoping for a winning record across those tough 6. But looking in conference, there's a lot of slop, and you can't afford to drop one of these random quad, like going to Xavier and losing there, taking our annual loss in Jersey. That's going to be painful. There's just going to be some trap games out there, and I just worry about the status of this league getting like those nice protected seeds. Obviously, we need some, and the top of the league does still have some skill. Just general concern when it comes to the middle slop and the bottom garbage.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a fair point.
Yeah. Sorry to
It's a
derail it
struggle.
there. Obviously, not specifically UConn, but appreciate you
No, it's all good.
taking the
Thanks.
time.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Chris.
thanks.
All right, we're going to move it along to, we're going to go to I Know Ball next. We're going to go to Dr. Sean, and then we've got Big East Hoyas is lurking in the background, too, so we'll get him here in a second, too. So I Know Ball, I really appreciate you being patient, brother. You there? Hello? I Know Ball going once. I Know Ball going twice. If you got to go back in and re-request, we'll try to get you back in here.
We probably just put him to sleep. It's what we do here.
Yeah, it happens. We also lost Dr. Sean. He's out of here too. So I got to move along to Big East Hoyas. And then if anybody wants to jump back in, we'll try to get him back in here. Big East Hoyas, what do you got for us?
What's up, guys? Great win tonight, by the way. I just had a quick question. You guys were talking about Georgetown and how not so high expectations. I was just wondering why. I'm a Georgetown fan. Watch Georgetown, talk a lot about Georgetown. I was just wondering why those expectations aren't that high after we beat Kentucky in exhibition, went and beat Maryland, and now we play Clemson this weekend.
Oh, mine weren't high coming into the year. They're much higher now. I've been super impressed so far. And Hot Balls, I'll let you take it. If he had Sorber, that's a top 25 team. That backcourt is lethal.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of one of those teams going to have to figure some shit out in the front court, and find a way to find some depth there. Like, but they got a shot at the tournament. They're going to have to get some of these out of conference games, like Clemson game's going to be big for them. I think we're going to get a better idea what they are. The Maryland is kind of a little down right now, just because it's kind of the nature of things when you lose your coach.
It's
But
still a
it's their
great
best
win.
win
It's
in a
still a
long
great
time,
win.
and I also think that wins against a team like, is particularly for Georgetown, wins against a team like Maryland are really important. But Clemson, I think, which is a Ken Palm top 25 team, like that's going to give us probably a much better idea of what they're going to be. And, look, could they, North Carolina on the road is going to be tough. But like Dayton's gettable, right? And if they're pretty clean, and they can zap somebody in the conference schedule, they might be looking at having a chance to get to the tournament, but they definitely look like a postseason basketball team to me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Clemson's definitely a bigger game, like just for viewers wise and what we're gonna be than Maryland. And then we obviously have Dayton and then BYU, Miami, and then UNC. So we're definitely gonna see more. And then just another question: do you guys think UConn has kind of cleared the it was always UConn and St. John's at 1 and 2? Do you guys think UConn is just straight up number one at this point? Because I do.
I need to. It would be really easy and fun to say that. Let me see Saturday. I mean, for St. John's, they did play what looks like a really good Alabama team. UConn hasn't played a team like that yet. So let me see that. It feels like it's that way, but I need, St. John's had the tougher game earlier than UConn did. So I am actually going to give them a little grace, much as I hate to do it. So I don't
Yeah,
think they've
the
quite.
other thing with the Alabama game, that's a terrible matchup for
It's
them.
so bad. I can't believe that was who
that
they scheduled.
that it's going to be very similar with us in Florida. Like it's a very matchup dependent thing, and like Florida with that huge front court is going to be an experience matchups wise for us, I think. But I think it's the same thing with St. John's. I mean, you're just Fineline, first of all. Oh my god, dude, how good is that kid? Um, that entire backcourt, they're so fast. They bomb threes. They spread. They make very, 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 for the most part, good shot decisions. Alabama is about as metrics based of a team and much of an analytically based college basketball team as you're going to find in the entire sport. I'd say even more so than us. Um, St. John's is a terrible shot selection team. They don't have a great backcourt. Um, you know, all the ingredients there for them to get waxed were definitely on the table. And I wouldn't say they got waxed, but got soundly beat. I mean, St. John's plays hard. They've just got huge facilitation issues right now. I mean, if Zuby Ejiofor isn't in that game, they could have lost that by 20, 25. Like, that could have gotten really out of control really quick for them. They just don't have they don't have a conductor, man. There's just nobody facilitating that offense. And the guys that they have are kind of shooters. They're great athletes, but they're not necessarily great shot creators. They're guys you kind of got to run shit for, And I mean, I've seen Sandin so many times, and I've seen so much of Ian Jackson. They're gonna have issues, man. I think they're gonna have a lot of issues offensively this year. They'll be able to fill it up. I think there's going to be a lot of games where there's going to be able to kind of flat out talent teams. Like they just have too many good basketball players. And I think they'll be a kind of a frustrating watch for their fan base because I think there's going to be a couple games where they go out there and they really look like world beaters. But they're going to drop some games this year that are going to make their fans want to pull their hair out. You can just kind of see it coming. That they got tired. They just got gassed out by Alabama too. I mean, the pace of that game was wild. The way that it was being played, I just didn't see an angle for St. John's to be able to win that. I figured they'd make it interesting a couple times. They did. But how many 3-point shots did they have the whole game?
St. John's in the game?
Yeah.
They took 17.
Yeah. The majority of those in the second half, like the overwhelming majority of those. So they're going to have to figure out a way to shoot from three, create more shots from out there. I don't know, man. I'm not there.
I think one of the biggest questions for them also is the chemistry part. And it was like my biggest question for them coming into the season. Like they have the players, obviously, they have some of the best players in the nation, but I don't think they're going to be able to put it together as fast as Patino was thinking, as they have Alabama, then they have two kind of bye games, and they play Iowa State, Baylor, Ole Miss. Like they have Kentucky as well. Like they have a lot of teams coming up. And I think he was expecting them to kind of gel quicker than they are, and I think they're going to get some bad losses at the start of the year.
I don't know. It was such a bad matchup on paper. I wondered with Rick, I'm like, is this him doing the mind game? Just pick the worst possible matchup for this team to prove a point? Or, I mean, see what it would look like in the most extreme bad matchup for us. And, I mean, he got it. You know, they were in the game and then kind of melted down the stretch, which was the wildest thing about it. It's back-to-back 85 possession game or 84 possession games. That's a lot to ask for a team where, you know, your star players are big guys. One of them's coming off a major injury, and I think Bryce looked okay, and I think the Bryce and Zuby thing might really work, but it's gonna be really hard without anybody to run this shit. And whether
They don't have facilitation and 3-point shooting. It's not really going to matter a lot what Bryce Hopkins and Zuby Ejiofor do. I mean, it's kind of a Purdue plus team without any shooters on the outside. Like, and you're going to be able to at least neutralize one of those two guys down low. I don't think there's much of a scenario where you can wax both of them. But I don't know, man. I'm most concerned with them defensively more than anything. Now, Alabama had a lot to do with that. They also gave up 74 to Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
Like, so my antenna's up with them. I mean, you know, we're joking about it in Discord this week where, like, I feel like Rick's just sort of overdosed on the portal. And I think when you do that, you know, I think we got two very interesting cases in the in the conference this year. Where on one hand, you have St. John's, which is like completely like gone all in. Like it's like drinking beers. They've slugged like 25 in the portal, and they're going to see what's going to happen. And you've got Shaka Smart, who's kind of like the straight edge weirdo kid. You know, sure he's probably going to live longer, good human being. You know, but also might be a little socially awkward and kind of sexless. That's kind of what we've got. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what we've got, right? Like you've got the party animal, and then like the straight kid. And I don't think either one of those approaches is a good approach. I just don't think that you can do it. And I mean, they looked a lot like, I mean, I always bring them up as an example, but like they looked a lot like Kansas did last year. They looked a lot like Texas did a couple years prior to that, Chris Beard's last year, like just loaded up in the portal, you know, massive amount of impact pieces, new guys in there. And like they would just out athlete and like out talent some pretty decent teams. But like when it came down to beating the really elite teams, the chemistry wasn't lacking. There's a lot of wish casting that went into it. And, you know, I think the big thing is when you kind of, part of the interesting piece about the portal is really, you only got two and a half months, right, to really make those evaluations, get to know the player well, and get them wrapped up, committed, and on your team. And you don't always know how those players are going to scale to your level, right? And I get, you know, I always kind of make the Christmas analogy where like you don't know what's in the presents and there's a lot of big shiny boxes and you get excited and you could open the box and, you know, it could just be a lot of stuffing and like, you know, a $10 Starbucks gift card in the middle of it, you know, and you get all excited. And I just get a lot of like the same. I know everybody's talking about Patino. I think they're going to get better. I think there is certainly like an outcome where they get really, really, really good. But I get a lot of the Dan vibe off of Rick from early last year, where it's like you get these pieces in and you're like, shit, like, like we're okay, but I don't know. And I feel like it's less Rick sort of being like this very sinister, like manipulative, sly guy. And I think it's a lot more Rick trying to set expectations for people as to like what the reality of this is going to sort of be for them. But I think it's going to completely come down. Their entire season is going to completely come down to what happens with their guards. I have very little worry that, Hopkins, so long as he can stay healthy, and Zuby is about as good of a 1-2 punch as you're going to get in the front court. It's everything after that, man. Like, can these guards figure out how to facilitate? Can Rick find a way to like create shots for these guys? Like the development of those pieces, in real time, while they sort of like, spreading the wealth is going to be risky for them because their two best players are the front court. So, how well is Rick able to balance that? Is he going to be able to create those kinds of shots, develop those guards? And if he can't, like, I think there's something a lot closer to what we were last year than they are a national title contender. I already think right off the rip, like they look to me more like a top 15 to 30 team, somewhere in there. And I'm still not sure like exactly what they're closer to or not. But they look a lot more like that to me right now, than a team that's like a bona fide, no doubt national title contender. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. That's all I have today. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck to the Hoyas down at Clemson. That's a big one if they can get that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we're going to try one more time here with I Know Ball, man. Go for it. See if you can
Can
hang
you
in there
hear me?
for us.
Can you hear me?
I could hear you.
What did you think of UMass Lowell versus New Haven?
Great win for the Chargers. Their first D1 win.
Ferris Reed, Big East Player of the Year?
Might be.
When Braylon Mullins comes back, how's that going to impact the team and how they operate their offense?
Hot balls, you want to take that one?
Yeah. Well, I think they're going to be there's going to be a lot more offensive firepower on the floor with him there. I think it's obviously, I mean, he's a total sharpshooter, so it's going to give them really 4 bona fide threats from 3. I haven't seen enough of him against elite level competition. It'll be interesting to see, how good he is off the bounce, getting to the rack, all that kind of stuff. It'll be really interesting to see him defensively. Like, he's definitely wiry, but certainly athletic. So we're going to see what that looks like. I think offensively, they're going to look really interesting. The better defensive rotation might be with Jaden or Jalen in the rotation. So we'll see. But they will be an infinitely better team, I think, with him back in the fold. Having a top 15 freshman usually will do that for you.
And go ahead.
Are there any teams ranked 5 to 11 that you're scared of losing, not a bye game, but a trap Big East game to?
Seton Hall?
Does it even count to be scared against Seton Hall, or is it just the annual tradition? Seton Hall, I also think that, I don't know where they're going to settle in the league, but Willard year one, they're going to be just so fine and competent, not incompetent, and competent, that's going to be a game that could maybe be the cornerstone of their year. As he gets it going, it's going to be in the big arena. That's one that could be. We'll see what we get out of Caden Lewis too. They have a star freshman. So Villanova on the road, I think, is going to be a tougher one than folks might anticipate. Especially it comes late in the year. It's 3 days after a huge home game against Creighton, possibly. It's going to be a tough spot.
DePaul and Butler might pose a threat.
Listen,
No.
I know we got Kyle who can't wait to talk about his Bulldogs, but I'll give him credit. They so far haven't done anything to screw this up. So,
I know, Ball. Thank you. All right, so let's move along here to Mr. Daly, and then we'll go to Kyle. I don't want to talk about Butler yet.
Gentlemen,
Sir, good evening. What disgusting game were you? Oh, you were at this. By the way, Seton Hall 3-0. Applause for. Hold on, let me see if I can still do this. Can I still do this? There we go. Good job. Let's be honest with ourselves, folks. If I had said a month ago Seton Hall is going to be 3-0 and be fine through the first three games, we would have all taken it. For the sake of the league, I would have been surprised. But they have managed not to trip on a rake yet, so good for Shaka. Good for Shaw, rather.
oh, I actually
Oh,
wasn't
God
at
damn it.
Seton Hall. I had Jason there. I was at the rack. I was at Rutgers
Oh,
versus
God, that's
UNaine.
even worse. God.
It was the earlier tip off, and for Seton Hall games at Walsh, the only two people that are courtside are Carino and Zag. So it's not the most ideal
Yeah,
vantage
I
point.
don't anticipate, Jaden, that the secondary seating at Walsh is more than 10 feet from them, though.
No, it's on top of
Oh,
the balcony level.
that sounds awesome. I'm not going to lie. I wish we were playing at Walsh.
No.
The men, anyway.
But yeah, I'm on the way back. Greetings from Jamaica, Queens. I'm about 15 minutes away from home, so I figured I'd jump on. Connor's recap is shared into the space. I'm editing some Seton Hall stuff. There will be a shot transcript when I get back home.
And I look forward to the audio. Thank you in advance.
I will send that to yourself and Jake. But your thoughts from what happened at Gamble?
We could kind of recap it. Pretty routine buy game. 70% of it was fine. Their concentration waned, especially at the start of the second half, I would say, a little bit. But in the first half, they put a huge run on an undersized but well-coached Columbia team and just created a level of separation where it was they just weren't as locked in the first 10 of the second half. And it's something Dan made a point of post game, is especially with the upcoming games. You can't have that. You can't do that for multiple possessions, yellow, multiple minutes against some of these teams they're playing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Columbia. I'll get them at some point over the course of the season. I spoke to Kevin Hovde at the Final Four in April, so I'm really intrigued as to what they can be. They brought a lot back too, so good win for UConn. Looking forward to finally seeing them in person Saturday night. Still TBD on whether or not I'll have Connor and Sam with me, but you will see me up
We
there.
will. That's fabulous. Tremendous news. Thank you, Jaden.
You're welcome. And I'm on my way to the Finn again tomorrow. I got Villanova Sacred Heart.
I say this, and you're such a sicko. I want to give you credit, Jaden. You're trying to do more Philly stuff this year with Kevin down there. Just a lot of Amtrak, I'm
And
guessing.
Fran too. Yeah, Amtrak or Greyhound or whatever is the most cost-effective option, because I usually blow all my travel budget
I
on
was
the
going to
Final
say,
Four.
how is the to get to the Finn? What are we talking here? Are you SEPTAing it out there, or?
I can, because they have a SEPTA station right on campus, and all I have to do is cut through the parking lot. But usually I'll Uber from 30th Street, and I wish Chris was here, because he would appreciate this too. I'll usually Uber to and from 30th Street to the Finn. It's a half hour Uber. And it's a lot cheaper than it would be here in New York.
I mean, it doesn't seem hard, but yeah, I would hope it is. So yeah, I had wished that we had. I mean, I didn't, given how the game went last year. I kind of wanted to go to the game at the Finn last year, but I think it was like a Wednesday night, the one with the Alex free throw.
Yeah, that was the Alex free throw miss,
Yeah,
right?
it was brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something on my long term checklist, is to check a game out down there. It's just a different venue.
It's a nice little place. I'm going through the Seton Hall thoughts. One tease here. Shaw's talking about Najai Hines, the freshman who looks like he's going to be the next Delgado. He goes, I'm trying to get him to go on the block and get the ball. He on the block, dribbling, throwing passes. I'm like, my man, I need you on the block.
I'm just so thrilled that this is going so well for Shaw. I gotta be honest. they've really not been in too much trouble with these first two bye games. And none of these teams have been any good. But listen, the expectations for Seton Hall couldn't have been any lower. And by default, they've risen to being in the top 10 of the league now. So maybe they're turning this to, I don't know what the ceiling is institutionally there, but just not being a friggin' joke would be a good start. It's the same goal that DePaul's had for 20 years, and I think they've done a better job fixing that than DePaul had. So, and hey, if we're going to lose to them every single year on the road, I'd like it not to be a quad 4 loss one of these years. So that'd be great.
Fair enough. Anyway, I get Seton Hall on Thursday when they play Monmouth. I'm going to try to save what little battery I have on my phone for the 15 minutes on the train home. Love you guys. I'll see
Thanks,
you
Jade.
Saturday.
Take care. See you Saturday. It's the sicko life we all wish we could lead. Villanova Sacred Heart tomorrow. Seton Hall Monmouth Thursday.
Who doesn't love that?
Man
Who doesn't
after my
love that? All right, we're going to get to some more callers here in a second. But folks, if you want to talk about a Connecticut business, nothing comes close to Martin Roll Souls. Since 1928, Martin Roll Souls has been feeding cranky Huskies fans all over Connecticut and beyond. Hot dogs, sausages, kielbasa's, and deli meats. They have everything we need to keep jerks like Hurley Mania fed, quiet, and if they didn't threaten to pull their sponsorship over it, even a place to frankly just leave them. But I promise we wouldn't do that to them. Again, that's Martin Roll Souls at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, the official sponsor of Connecticut Basketball Spaces, Wiener Weinerline. And got to keep the train rolling here. Kyle, the Butler fan, you're up next.
Yo, first of all, some important news. Our friend who just called in with a funny voice just said he will be breaking some news on UConn Spaces soon. That's what he tells the Butler chat. So get ready for
Yeah,
that.
that's not him. Nice try, Yuli.
Anyway, I could, Butler's done fine. I actually came on UConn Basketball Spaces to talk UConn basketball. I didn't watch the second half, so I suppose he didn't do as much, but I kind of thought that for 2 years, like, what is Hurley doing with, well, not what is he doing, but like, is he just there to be a big body? Like, what's going on? Is Jaden, because when Mullins came back, I thought Ross was kind of like a thing where he's taking minutes up until Mullins come back, and he can do a job against these types of teams, maybe get logged 10, 12 decent minutes against BYU. I only watched the first half, and I understand he didn't play as well in the second half, but is this going to be a thing? Like, is he going to be a thing?
I mean, the Jaden Ross story is a pretty fascinating one. Ross as like a recruit, I believe he was like a 3-star, borderline 4-star guy in the aggregate, if you want to call it that. But interesting guy. Like started off as like kind of an undersized 2. He's like no, he's probably about right. He's decently sized. He's like 6'3" shooting guard for a long time, and then like between sophomore and junior year, just hit like an enormous growth spurt and sprung up like 5 inches and went from a guy that was like, kind of a top 250-ish kind of guy into, I think 24/7 had him like 113. I saw him as high as like the low 80s. But like kind of a top 100-ish guy. And Dan has always sort of had this thing for late bloomers. Alex Caravan was a little bit of a late bloomer. Braylon Mullins, as you know, was a late bloomer, right? And kind of brought him in. I mean, he was a good shooter in high school, so that was kind of the reputation that came in. But just like sort of a jack of all trade, master of none out of high school. Was at Long Island Lutheran, and was definitely not a guy year one that was going to like factor into any kind of significant playing time. We brought him in with the same class as Castle, Stewie, Ball, and Singare. And him and Yusuf were the 2 guys that, you're pretty sure you're not going to really see much of them year one. I think the hope was for him to be a little bit more of a contributor last year. But it's really funny because if you talk to Dan specifically, but really anybody around the program, and that's players, that's NIL people, that's media people, like everybody that has been in a practice facility watching this guy are have been like, this kid is incredible. And like last year spent a very good portion of the year in practice cooking starters. But every time there was kind of that opportunity to roll him out there, get him some extended minutes, it would just sort of short circuit. It was like you could see the sparks coming out of his ears. And he would just get really sped up. And so he's always been just kind of this guy that like everybody kind of knows. He's a really talented dude. Um, has a very high ceiling, but just kind of hadn't really had it come together for him in a game yet. I guess I can speak to this a little bit more personally, but like Jaden is another one of those guys that you just meet him and he's like he's years ahead of his age maturity wise. Like just very well spoken, like very mature, like very engaged in conversations, asks a lot of questions. Like he's just a very, very, very smart kid. And so like even talking to him and kind of seeing those raw tools, they're like, oof, man, like there might be some ceiling here. And, I think with Mullins going down, I think everybody, because we had sort of seen more flashes from Stewie the last 2 years, had kind of, I think been a little bit more distracted by what he would bring, to the table. And then obviously Mullins and McNeely being as high profile recruits as they've been the last 2 years for us. Jaden's been kind of the guy that, like, I don't like saying the word lost in the shuffle, but at least from like a conversations about guys around the team kind of has been. And I think just the way things are shaken out, he's finally starting to get a little bit more playing time this year. I think him and Stewie are kind of in a dogfight for that, first wing off the bench kind of role. I think obviously Rob is going to be sort of the backup center. I think Malachi Smith's going to be the backup point guard. Who are the guys coming off the bench on the wing? It's going to be Jaden. It's going to be Stewie, and I think if you talk to a lot of people, like, I think our ceiling, their development and their contributions this year will have a significant impact on what our overall ceiling ends up being. And the one thing that Jaden does do well and has done fairly well in a game is he's a good active defender. He's long, lanky, big time wingspan. He can jump. He's athletic. The shooting, the offensive contributions just haven't come yet. And now we're starting to see that in flashes and like with more consistency. So, could this be the year he finally puts it all together? Sure. I think if you were to like ask most UConn fans about him, like he's probably the guy that, out of that freshman class 2 years ago that everybody was like, yeah, him and Singari are the 4-year guys. If Singari was really going to bust in the starting lineup, he's obviously not here anymore. But like those are the guys you're looking at and you're like, yeah, they're going to be here probably 4 years. And so I'm going to be really interested to see what he contributes this year. But like his ceiling is sky high and it kind of always has been. It's just been a matter of him figuring it out. Dan was joking around on the press conference a couple weeks ago about like, he's like, I've seen this movie on streaming for a long time, and now everybody else is kind of starting to see some flashes of what they've seen in practice. So he puts it together, man. That's just a whole, him or Stewie really. And if they both do, that's a whole 2 more layers of the onion.
Yeah, just happy, frankly, to see a guy. It's like genuinely makes me happy to see a guy stick it out for 2 years playing not much and then have a game like that, even though it's just the first game that I've watched him play and I've been like, oh, okay, I see what's there. I was very, very happy to see him take that because I've watched him barely play for 2 years because I watch UConn just as much as I watch anyone in the conference. So it was good to see. So yeah, I don't got much more. Butler's put belt to ass on 2 teams. Do it again tomorrow. Don't expect anyone to take us seriously till we beat SMU on Saturday.
Hey, you're 69th on Ken Palm, and that's all that matters.
That's very fair.
Nice. By the way, do I sound okay? I figured out.
Yeah, you sound fine.
I switched the mic. I finally did it 2 hours in. Kyle, do you want to just shit on Xavier? Because that's the only reason you came in here. But that's the only reason you're here.
It's not. I mean, honestly, I'm against my better judgment. I'm kind of not happy about that because I think that, and maybe I'm just being delusional. I probably am, but I think that from what we've seen these first couple games, I think Butler's got something this year. Tournament, I don't expect anyone to believe that until we show it, but I would like the bottom of the conference, including us, to not be completely dog shit. And I want Xavier to finish 11th, but not that 11th. I mean, I can seriously say I take all the pleasure in the world saying I think they're the worst team in the conference. I don't take pleasure in saying that they might be stubs to Paul Bad.
You have a path to 8th.
We have a path to better than 8th.
Yeah, 7th.
I mean, again, delusional. I think we have a path to better than that, but I just
this league you actually might.
I don't mean necessarily that I think Butler's going to be world beaters. We're not going to be world beaters. The ceiling is like a slip into the tournament team, and that's the ceiling. But and that's not even close to the floor. The floor is not even being in the conversation, obviously. But no, we have a path to better than 8th for sure.
I look forward to following it. Thank you, Kyle.
Yep.
All right, Cash Fraud says he has one more thing that he wants to say, and I think we're going to call it a night because Hot Balls has an extraordinarily long day tomorrow.
He has to actually work normal business
I
hours
have
tomorrow.
disgusting.
I'm so happy about this.
Horrible.
It's awesome. What
can't
time's
believe
your
they're doing
alarm
this to
set
me. It's
for?
abusive that they're making me go in. They're making me have a normal work day. That's bullshit.
I love it. Good.
I wanted to ask Kyle, the Butler fan, how he thinks their big men will fare in Big East play.
Well, Kyle, the Butler fan, is long gone, and he's never coming back again.
Oh.
Ever.
Okay.
The Cash Fraud put a note. The East Texas A&M post game space, probably a good spot for that. Because if you thought we didn't have a lot to talk about tonight, I don't know what the hell that and Brian's going to look like. But we'll try. Okay. Thank you, though. No, it's a good question. He just isn't with us anymore. Hot Balls killed him, which is unfortunate, but it happens.
Your voice sounds so velvety smooth on this.
Does it? Does it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Do a little Hurley Mania ASMR to get out of here.
Well, yeah, your ASMR last show was
total fail. Yeah, something happened to my mic. I don't know what happened to my mic.
You just listening. I was like, oh God, just stop. I had no way of telling you. You were on a roll.
Yeah. No, what was I going to do? Sometimes you just got to go for it. Leroy Jenkins.
And by the way, the velvety smooth tones are thanks to our partners at Store Central. They got Hot Balls and I some actual professional microphones. So it's not a professional production, but we're faking it by sounding like one. And we will be busting these out on the road Saturday night for the Boston postgame space, somewhere in the Back Bay, I'm sure. So we'll see how that goes.
Let's see. That's fine. I'm going to try this. Bluetooth.
We appreciate them.
The Bluetooth. Is it coming through?
Yeah.
Do I sound clear?
Yes.
Maybe it is working. I don't know.
Wow.
Do I sound different?
You sound farther away.
Do I sound really close now?
Yes.
Okay, then it's not working.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't want to ask.
If I push this button right here, what is this? Does this work? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
It's a new toy. Oh shit, it's stuck to my paper.
I don't want to know what that could be.
Yeah, so one of the little rubber things on the bottom came off. So
one of the okay.
Yeah, little things at the base. So yeah, don't get any ideas, you weirdos.
Before we get out of here, a quick look around the country. Iowa State put 96 on a very good Mississippi State team at the Sanford Pentagon in South Dakota. And UCLA has slowly figured their shit out tonight against West Georgia. So that's the top 25 tonight. They're playing without Donovan Dent, though, in their defense. Tomorrow night, a real game that we can fucking hate. Michigan's playing Wake Forest in Detroit. God forbid those two went home and home. And one that's actually a really cool one and is a lot of fun and is not a typo. Duke will be at Army tomorrow night on CBS Sports Network. On Veterans Day, they're playing at Army at 7 p.m.
Is that the Mike Krzyzewski alumni donation?
Basically, they went there in 97. If I did not have a child, I would absolutely be at this game. This is like calling me, but I have a child. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. I might tune into that for a couple minutes just to see what it's like seeing Duke going into Crystal Arena at West Point. That should be pretty wild to watch. But the actual game tomorrow night to watch, it's the best game. Kentucky, Louisville, an 8 p.m. game on a Wednesday. This is usually a Saturday standalone game. Those two hate each other so much. It's great. And the other game, 8:30 FS1, Texas Tech, Illinois. So if you want to scout Illinois, you have Illinois at FS1 at 8:30. If you want to scout BYU, they're on CBS Sports Network at 9. And if you want to be a real sicko and scout Arizona, they are on ESPN Plus at 9 playing former UConn video coordinator Tim Russo's Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. And if you want to see Creighton fall on their face at Gonzaga, that's 10 o'clock on ESPN. So that's tomorrow's schedule for you.
That Kentucky-Louisville game is going to be wild.
I will be betting the over is 175.5, and I think it's 40 points shy of where it should be.
Think Kelsey and Pope get in a fight tomorrow night?
I hope so. They've been way too cool. And there was that story about something with the recruiting battle. The kid who ended up committing to Kansas anyway. There was apparently some bad blood because, like, one of the two of them showed up at the kid's house at midnight of the first day you could do an official visit, as if this was 1995 or something. And the other one was there, and there was something, and the kid ended up going to Kansas anyway. But I really hope we get a Mark Pope, Pat Kelsey fight, because that's what I need that rivalry to be, the sort of hate it used to be. Let's get some fights.
Who do you think will win, and who do you want to win?
I think Kentucky will win, but I want Louisville to win because I have major questions about Pat Kelsey's ability to control himself. And if they win, he might just do something dumb enough to like completely touch that rivalry off again. Like I could see him cutting the mother of all heel promos after the game. Or babyface, because he's home, I guess. But I could see him doing something wild. That's what I'm just rooting for chaos. That's what I'm rooting for. And I think the game will definitely deliver chaos. For sure.
It always does. Almost always
it has
does.
to be. It has to be chaotic if Louisville wants a chance.
Yeah, they gotta try. I mean, I don't want to speed that Kentucky team up, but I don't think Kentucky's the best team in the country, but I think they have more of a case than they're being given credit for. Now we'll see. They lost an exhibition game to Georgetown, right? But they didn't have a bunch of players in that game. If at full strength, that Kentucky team's like a top 5 team, I think. Pope's really good. The roster is good. I clowned up like it's not 22 million good. It's not. But two of the blue bloods I've been pleasantly surprised by are them in North Carolina. I think they look better than I thought they would so far. But we'll see. It's the first test first time Kentucky's playing somebody that's not 250 or lower. So, and it should be a wild scene. It always is.
Looking forward to it. Illinois, Texas Tech will be great too. That's going to be a good game.
It will be. It's actually it might be a better game than Texas Tech, Illinois, but like it doesn't have the history of absolute sadism that Louisville, Kentucky does. But yeah, that's actually a great game, and that's on it is on campus. Nice. It's at Illinois, so that'll be cool. Tomorrow night's a really good schedule, actually. Very strong. Proud of the sport.
Working a normal work day, I am going to be able to watch it. So
good.
Some shining rays of hope through the darkness.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch. I'm trying to see what you'll side by side. If you want to see some sick shit, watch what Florida does to Florida State. Although Florida State's look competent so far. Yeah, we get it's a good schedule tomorrow night too because there's some good late games. You can get Arizona, BYU, and Gonzaga versus Creighton at the same time. Late, your favorite window. There you go.
Outstanding. All right, I think I'm done.
We won't talk about Seattle Sunday. I can't. Too much heartbreak.
Oh, it's a brutal loss. Terrible. Should never have happened. It was Saturday night, was it? Or it was Sunday, technically. It doesn't really matter.
It was late and it was depressing. It was Saturday. You're right. It was Saturday.
So we're going to be coming back at you guys here on Saturday for our first top 10 matchup of the year as we roll on into Boston to host the BYU Cougars. Those
Great
silly
cultural
Mormons.
exchange.
Huh?
Great cultural exchange. You and the Mormons. What could possibly go wrong?
We're going to learn a lot.
I bet you
this week. We are going to learn a lot about a different culture this week. So we will be broadcasting after them. I don't know how that's going to go, but we're going to be broadcasting. So we will be back at you after that game and looking forward to it. It is time. Knock the rust off. Crack the knuckles. It's time to get after it, folks. The real season is here. Saturday.
To quote the late John Thompson II, the boys are gone. The men are here now. BYU Saturday night. Top 10 matchup in Boston. Followed by Arizona. So here we go.
There we go. All right, folks. We'll see you then. But you guys know the deal. Until then, keep in touch with yourselves, everybody. Good night.